Good morning. Car rant. Hands at 10 and 2, eyes firmly fixed on the road. All right, now I'm going to put a link to this article in the comments section, but you've probably already seen it. It has to do with this sheriff in Ohio who doesn't want to have anybody carry narcan, and I also want to talk about this councilman in Middleton, Ohio, I think, who only wants to have narcan administered twice. Third time, you're dead. Doesn't matter. 2 strikes, you're good. Third strike, you're out. All right. Now, the first thing I need to do, though, this sheriff in Ohio, I really want to get this straight, because if you read the article, I believe his name is Richard Jones. And my name is Richard Jones. Wow. So in order to avoid confusion on who I'm speaking of when I talk about Richard Jones, let's do this. I'll be Richard Jones, and let's just say, for sake of argument, we will call him Dick Jones, or just Dick. So Richard and Sheriff Dick. I think that'll work. I think people will be able to make that connection. All right, so Dick, Sheriff Dick, he basically says, I'm not down with this. It's not our job to save heroin addicts. We're not going to carry Narcan unless the courts make us carry Narcan. And then you got this other cat. His deal is he's a councilman. He said, I'm only going to have my folks go out and do it twice. We're going to put some protocols in place. So if Narcan is administered twice, you're not going to get it the third time because it's a burden on the city. Now, here are some obvious things about this. This clearly speaks to the fact that addiction is not thought of as a disease in America. Absolutely clear. 100% clarity. We do not think it's a disease. Because here's why. These two dudes that are out there saying that stuff, I mean, Dick and Councilman Dick, sorry, that was a slip. Their deal is they're reflecting what they're hearing from the community. I bet you $1 million. What they're saying is that stuff they're hearing in the coffee shops, that stuff they're hearing in the church, they're hearing it from their relatives. People are saying stuff like, we can't administer Narcan to these junkies. It just gives them a free license to continue to use. So these two guys that come out and say this stuff publicly, they're not idiots. They're saying it because it reflects what Americans actually think. The word disease, as it applies to addiction, is a euphemism. A euphemism is a word that makes us feel just a little bit better about a terrible situation. So if we're going to fire a bunch of people at work, if we're going to lay off a bunch of people at work, we call it downsizing rather than cuts. That's what we're doing with addiction in America. We're just calling it a disease because it makes us all feel a little bit better about it. But let's talk about it in a real straightforward manner. The elephant in the room. People do not think addiction's a disease. The average person on the street does not think it's a disease. They are wrong. They are fundamentally wrong. They are misinformed. It's absolutely 100% a neurobiological disease. Everyone who argues against that, they're ignoring all the science associated with this. They're ignoring all the evidence, and they're just going on their gut feel, on their moral superiority or their self-righteousness or whatever word you want to put on it, or just being misinformed. And then whenever Sheriff Dick comes out and Councilman Dude comes out, and they start saying what they're saying, we get all fired up at them, and we should be fired up at them. It's outrageous that they would get away with saying that. But really, let's bring the conversation full circle, and let's start challenging and working on the stigma, and really work on how we present ourselves, and really work on how we talk about recovery and families, how you talk about dealing with a loved one's recovery. We can change this, but we've made very little progress. If Sheriff Dick can come out and say, we're going to let people die, and Councilman Dick can come out and say, we're going to let people die, we have a huge problem. All right. I am going to go to the Marty conference now and check out some homies and kind of established the Western Pennsylvania cartel cell. That's the other thing. Everybody's like, oh, what's Rich doing? What's the cartel? Is he leaving favor? The cartel is a way of thinking. Come on, man. Use your head. Shake your head. Get smart. Move away from the cliches. The cartel is a way of thinking. We need to approach addiction like the cartels approach, we need to approach recovery like the cartels approach addiction. They are ruthless. They are relentless. They are trying new things continuously. That's what we need to do where recovery is concerned. Amen, brother. Have a great day.